Hi, everyone. Welcome to our product demo webinar. We are so glad that so many of you decided to spend your lunch break or just after your lunch break, or maybe your morning with us, looking at our latest AI developments in the TPDoc area. So today we're going to see how the Aibidia TPDoc automates compliance. Your speakers today are Simo, one of our co-founders, and myself. So I'm going to let Simo introduce himself first.
Yeah, thanks, Susanna. Welcome everyone on my behalf as well. So Simo, one of the co-founders, keeping it short, did my first career in academia and last 8 years transforming how transfer pricing is managed by a different kind of automation. So I'll be here answering any questions you might have after the product demo.
Thank you, Simo. Yeah, for those of you who are here live with us, it's a great opportunity to ask any questions at the source with our co-founder. So great opportunity. And my name is Zuzana, and I'm an account executive based out of the London office. My background is in transfer pricing as well. So I spent a couple of years working in advisory in Deloitte and in Baker McKenzie in London, and a couple of years ago moved over to tax technology side, and very excited to be able to present to you our latest development in the webinar today. We have 30 minutes, so we're going to move through different items swiftly. So we're going to first start with introduction to Aibidia. Then we're going to move into how our TP documentation preparation tool can support your compliance processes and how AI feeds into that. And then we're going to jump straight into the live demo of the platform. So pretty exciting schedule. And at this point, I would like to encourage you, because I was just wondering, if anyone right now is using AI in their transfer pricing processes and how, or maybe if you have any challenges with using AI, I think it would be great to hear from the audience what are the different experiences. So yeah, feel free to drop your messages. We have our colleague Vivian who will be moderating the chat as well, so she'll be able to answer any questions that come up, and also Simo and I will be answering at the end as well. So let's kick off with an introduction. So for those of you that are not familiar with Aibidia, we are a company that's originally headquartered in Helsinki, Finland, but we now have a big global footprint because we service customers all around the world. And also we have offices in London and in New York as well. On the right-hand side, you can see some of the companies that are working with us currently, which we're very happy about. And also, as you can see on the left bottom side, we have a couple of strategic partnerships, including with IBFD. That is the foundation of our AI products that you will hear about in this webinar. So what is Aibidia and what is it that we do? So our ethos is to be able to automate transfer pricing end to end. So all of these different areas of transfer pricing, compliance, operational transfer pricing, benchmarking, CBCR, we want to be able to help you with all of that. So transfer pricing can just happen. So no matter if you would like to upload the data manually or through ERP, if you have data in a little bit of unstructured format, we're able to help you with that with our Aibidia common data model. And we're able to then derive those strategic outputs such as TPDoc, benchmarking reports, CBCR operational, TP assistance, and also recently we have moved into the field of AI with our AI research assistant, which is one of the main topics of today's session. So with Aibidia, you can have it all and make transfer pricing just happen without spending too much time on manual work. And the topic of today's presentation, so TPDoc and AI, obviously, we have heard about AI use cases in almost all domains. So it was only a matter of time that it moves into transfer pricing. And we are very proud to let you all know that we have a product called TP Aurora, which is an AI research assistant for TP professionals. And what is unique about TP Aurora is that, first of all, it is being only trained on IBFD data. So, with all those platforms like ChatGPT or any other AI assistants, there is a little bit of ambiguity where the data is coming from. But with TP Aurora in mind, it's only the IBFD data. And it's unlike any other tool in the market in that regard. So how it works is basically the most basic functionality is you can ask different questions that are very complex. They're describing a little bit your situation, and TP Aurora will help you with that. But as we will mention later on in this webinar, there are more use cases that you can use TP Aurora for with perhaps more targeted to your needs in the TP space. So, for example, what TP Aurora does is, as I just mentioned now, it simplifies the research. So you can go into with any query describing your situation, and it will give you relevant information. But also, it can give you the up-to-date changes. So you can always be sure that whatever you're asking TP Aurora, it always is true because it has a live feed from IBFD. Also, if you're looking for country-specific information, so maybe you are moving into jurisdictions that you are less familiar with, and then you're able to quickly check maybe deadlines, maybe requirements, maybe what are the penalties in TP Aurora as well. Also, it can help with designing your TP policies. So let's say you have a fact pattern that you would like to run by TP Aurora, you're able to do so, and TP Aurora will explain and maybe provide some further feedback. And maybe Simo, because you speak to a lot of our customers and you see a lot of use cases of TP Aurora. Just wanted to ask you as well, what do you see in your day-to-day with regards to that?
Yeah, thanks, Susanna. Keeping it high level here, but we are seeing more and more people starting to use this as part of their daily work. Especially this, I think, has revolutionized how people are finding information, hundreds of pages of different kind of compliance requirements, nicely summarized, but importantly linking back to the original source, because TP people want to be very particular and accurate in how they operate and based on what information, so that you don't rely only on that first level, but that's the first step on getting to the info that you really need. And also highlighting maybe here that basically TP Aurora, what we are showing today and what it does today is mainly optimized for the research assistant role, but at the same time we are building towards more comprehensive AI audit assistant, which would be able to review your document and highlight any flags, missing information, and things like this. But we want to build this from the ground up, being based on very accurate information, and then expanding from there.
So it's almost Simo like TP Aurora can be your own, sounding board for different ideas, how to approach different policies, different topics. Yeah. And also, I think we need to underline that it has high levels of security as well, so you can be sure that your data will not be put anywhere, which is something that maybe other just simple chat searches cannot guarantee. So that's important to note as well.
Exactly. And maybe I think we had one final slide on the differentiators here, as already mentioned, just to summarizing that really we wanted to be very thorough on building the first real AI assistant that we are offering in a way that it's using only curated, accurate sources. And then also, as mentioned, providing link also and access to the original documents instead of the, let's say, human readable summary of the question. And then also, of course, users can send feedback if they feel something was not answered comprehensively or not, something fell short, then we will train the model further. But as Susanna mentioned, important to note, we are not training the model based on your questions, but only on your feedback that you would explicitly send to us. So this is important on the privacy and data security. But as we want to keep it roughly in 30 minutes, and the demo will take roughly 15 minutes. So let's maybe now jump in and check the demo. And if you have any questions, shoot into the chat, and then we'll answer them then after the demo.
Great. Let's jump into it.
Okay, let's start the demo. So I'll be starting from the Aibidia platform menu, just to highlight that even though we are today focusing on TP documentation, our platform covers the full life cycle from the operational to compliance, adding your benchmarks on all of that. But let's go to the TP documentation. So how I like to frame our TPDoc solution is that there are three core functionalities. One is to have a centralized place for all your TP data. So you have all your information in a structured way, in a correct context, in a centralized place. So your entity information, group information, policies, agreements, all of this in designated places. Then secondly, of course, the automatic generation of your documentation based on that data in a data-driven way. Wanting to highlight what that means is that you don't have to maintain templates for different kind of entities. The system will automatically conclude from the transactions that which information is relevant for which entity. So this saves a lot of time, reduces human error in doing updates to your policies and maintaining the data and so forth. And then third core functionality is around managing the workflow, collaboration, and then offering support in regulatory information. So if we start from the third one on the workflow and collaboration, so here you can see your documentation status in different jurisdictions, and you can see your deadlines, thresholds. You can see the level of completeness, status of documentation. Now let's assume that, for example, you get a tax audit. So here you can use our proprietary software developed together with IPFD, TP Aurora, which is an AI research assistant. So you can, for example, say that I have a tax audit in Finland. So you can say that how to prepare for tax audit in Finland. So now the TP Aurora starts to go through IPFD and OECD data, generating you answers, first in a human readable form, but then also providing links to the original source information so that you can go deeper into the details. So here you can see it lists you the different steps to prepare, and then here you can see those original sources where you can go deeper if you want. And then you can also check, like, are there major differences in transfer pricing requirements in Finland compared to the OECD. So this gives you first idea on if you need to pay closer attention on this specific jurisdiction when compiling the local files. I'll show also that we have country summaries here that you can then understand how to cover the local nuances. So here again, you can see the human readable guidelines, and then the detailed information here. So now I could go to my documentation solution back here. I can also check from jurisdiction specific data and counter summaries that, for example, now for Finland, we can go here, check the full requirements, and then also recommendations by our team on how to cover those specific things in your documentation in each jurisdiction. So in this way, our database is working together with AI to support you in understanding the requirements. And then you can go in, check what is the level of completeness in your data. You can see what is completed, what is not. This is super useful, especially if you are working with a larger team, because you can give limited access to your team members, local controllers, which can be based on a jurisdiction or entity or combination of those. And then you can assign them tasks on like update some information, review some information. This will send automatic email notification to those people. And then there are also automated scheduled reminders if the task has not been completed. And then there's activity tracker where you can see all the changes done by different people. And for example, if we would go to the entity section and now would have a local controller, they could only be able to see and edit the entity that they have access to. So this brings us to the first core functionality that I mentioned about having a centralized place to store your data. So there are different sections for local file introductions, main competitors, and so forth. And here you can add your tables, pictures, free-form text that will be then automatically going to your local files. All the data is stored at an annual level. If you change anything for fiscal year 25, that doesn't override any historical data, but you can always go back in time to the data that was valid at that specific point of time. And then in addition to your legal entity information, then you have a designated place for your legal agreements, your benchmarks. This is not any technical requirement to store these with the attachments, but if you add the attachments, it's very useful because the system will then automatically compile you attachment files from that from the data, so it automatically finds you the relevant attachments to be included. And here you would maintain your different TP policies. We can also support quite complex ways of reporting. Won't be going those through today, being conscious of time. But here you would maintain your different policies. You can have your free-form descriptions. You have flexibility of including or excluding functional and economic analysis. Then you enrich your data with functional profiles, TP methods, basically creating a complete library of your policies. And then you would upload your transactions into the transaction section. There are different ways. You can either do it in a limited user way where limited users would come in and put their own transactions. You can just copy all the transactions from Excel if you have them there, and we can also support in more automated transaction data ingestion from raw ERP extracts as an example. And then the main step basically is to map each transaction to which policy they are related to. So your policies in your library are here to be selected and linked to the relevant transaction. And this is the way how the system now knows what information is relevant for each local file, because the transactions of the entity have been mapped to the relevant policies. Then you would add your PLI information and then map the relevant benchmarks, and then you would have your final arm's length validation, which now compares your benchmarks to your actual PLI values, and it will create you an verification on whether you are in the range or not. So here I can quickly check, show me only transactions that are out of the range, and then you can add an explanation of why that was the case if needed. But that's basically the main steps to cover, and then you are ready to create your documentation. So now you have your list of entities here. You can see it has identified the correct transactions for each entity. So we can create the file. It will start going through your data, all the transactions that have been mapped to correct policies. It will alert you if you have any missing data. You can still proceed. It will still create a clean local file. So there's a lot of intelligence behind the document generation. And now you can see that it has automatically compiled also the relevant attachments. So all your legal agreements, benchmarks, which we can also provide depending how if you want to use your own or benchmarks provided by our team. So those are all automatically compiled. And then there's option also to store any other kind of resource materials. So list of patents for audit purposes. So a centralized place to have all the information there. And here you can now see the attachment file with the benchmarks, legal agreements, all of this. And now our local file is ready as well. So now you can see it created for this specific entity. Let me open the navigation view here. And now all the information regarding the entity comes from the entity section, local file intros, org charts, business strategy, all of these. And then highlighting once more the data-driven approach, meaning that at no point I didn't have to create a template for this kind of entity, which is in this case quite a complex entity. I just mapped the relevant policies to the relevant transactions. Sorry, I got some Teams update there. And then you get the relevant policies in here. So if I would have a very simple or distribution entity, it would have only the distribution policy, but now I have a complex entity with manufacturing, distribution, licensing, services, so forth. And here you would have your fee from description, list of transactions tested under this policy, functional profiles, and then the economic analysis of why certain method were used, tested party, what was the benchmark applied, what was the range, what was the actual value, and this is the way how it generates the file. And now if you would need AI translation, all the versions you have created are automatically stored with the timestamp here as a draft. And now if you want AI translation, you can see here we have many languages covered. In cases where you can see it says that with TP glossary, let me just put the Finnish translation going. Basically, when you set TP glossary, it means that the engine, the AI engine doing the translation has been trained with TP glossary. So there's a native speaker who has verified the outcomes so that the quality is very good for transfer pricing purposes. And then there are like 20 other languages where are less needed, less rarely requested. So those have not been trained with TP glossary. And now here you can see the Finnish version in this case. as well from that same data. So this is another area where AI is supporting. Maybe finalizing what is important in TP audits that I started with, that it's important to have your story straight. So even though we're not focusing on country by country today, but if you would have both your country by country and TPDoc activated on the platform, the system will run automatic cross-validation, that whether you have your related party revenue in CPC roughly matching your TPDoc intercompany transactions, and then highlighting if there are big differences. Similarly, if there are differences in business activities between the two compliance requirements, those are automatically highlighted. And there are like 30 other risk analytics in CPC, but that's a topic for another webinar. But thanks for your attention. I'll stop here.
And just like that, the magic of the cinema, Simo is back here, ready to answer your questions. So one of the questions that came up was with regards to the coverage of our data. So the question was whether the TP Aurora database covers the African countries as well.
Yeah, so it's a global coverage, including Africa, where I know that the let's say transfer pricing practices are evolving very quickly. So it's great to see this development. So definitely covered, and many of our clients are now having more and more activity there. So it's a very active area on that front.
Yeah, also something from my side is that if a resource is covered by IBFD, then it will be covered by TP Aurora for transfer pricing as well. So I know that in Africa there is, instead of OECD, there are the manuals as well. So they are available normally on IBFD. So they will be also available on TP Aurora as well. And maybe just a question, how in that context, Simo, how important are the sources when you're using a product like TP Aurora, and on the creation of product like that? How important was that?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about AI in general is that how it's been built is that it gives you very confident answers, even though it would be talking total nonsense. So I think especially when we are talking about regulatory requirements like transfer pricing, then we need to be able to rely on the sources. So this highlighting once more why we wanted to build up our AI from this approach, that instead of having just generic ChatGPT bolted on top, we basically want to build this from ground up from the best legal sources.
We have one more question, Simo. So
sure.
How long does it take to set up the documentation process?
Yeah, great question. Naturally, a lot of variance there, and depending on the maturity of the in-house process and the size of the group. I would say anywhere from couple of weeks to some months, depending, of course, how much the in-house team is able to invest time in that. But important to highlight, like the technical setup is very quick. We can set up the environment in 15 minutes. And then what we also do is the heavy lifting during the implementation phase, that we will convert your existing documentation onto the platform. So it's then more like how we're able to include that as part of the overall workload of the clients. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And we have one more question coming through as well. So can the economic analysis be adapted to local rules with the tool? So it's a question about benchmarking. Can that be added in?
Yeah, so benchmarking, we have a team who can perform the benchmarking, and then basically you can select which kind of range you are applying to within the arm's length analysis comparison, and then when the actual benchmark is attached, then that explains the process, how it was, and why certain ranges were used. So yeah.
Thank you. We have one more question in the chat about the subscription and the cost, but that's something that we're happy to kind of cover individually as well. So if you would like to get to know more about our pricing, feel free to reach out to us. We have one more question. I hope that we still have time. I mean, because that's Agoda. I mean, probably Aibidia. I hope the person who asked meant Aibidia. But does Aibidia help to build a unified template based on existing templates? I think that's a great question.
Yeah, it's a very great question. Actually, in the heart of our approach, how we differentiate is that it's what I mentioned a bit in the demo recording there, that we have a data-driven approach instead of template, which means that you don't have to maintain templates, but you just maintain data. Yeah. And thanks to the let's say in the intelligent document generation and the mapping of transactions to policies, the system will automatically know which information to use in the documentation. So the structure comes, also the content comes from your existing documentation, but you don't have to maintain templates. The system compiles the data automatically. So that's effectively the approach. Yeah, very good question there.
And something that also from my experience is that it's a kind of a mindset shift from working on templates to maintaining the database. But then if you think about templates and just having everything in Word, you would never be able to apply any analytics on that or then prepare your data for AI. So I speak to a lot of customers that see going through with Aibidia as a first step to prepare for that era where everything is data and we're no longer just sitting in Word docs. So it's a pretty significant change, but a very positive one. Okay, so I think that's all the questions that we have for now, and we are at time, only 3 minutes more that we took of your time, but very nice to spend afternoon or morning with some of you, and thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out directly to Simo or myself, and we're going to be happy to answer any more questions that you have. Thank you very much, and have a great afternoon and rest of your day.
Maybe just to finalize, I think we have another webinar coming up soon, right? In September. Did you have details on that, Susanna?
Yes. So we will distribute the details on the webinar probably onto this list as well. So keep in touch with our socials, and we will notify you as well.
Great. I think that will be around operational transfer pricing. So hoping that
another hot topic.
Many of you are able to join.
Next, after AI, the next hot topic is always OTP. I guess these days.
Great. Thanks everyone for your time.
Thank you all.
Have a nice day.
Bye.